you know, my bread and butter has always been big water smallmouth fishing. And whether that's big water in northern Michigan or big water, you know, in northern New York or Vermont or, you know, this part of the country, but it's that northern tier stuff that I really have called home and worked the last 20 or so years on. I started tournament fishing for, you know, mainly for smallmouth on Lake Erie in the early 90s, probably late 80s, early 90s. So that gives me, you know, like a 20-plus year span of smallmouth fishing in that part of the world. So we get to kind of take a double-handed approach. So I've got that little bit of unique background where it's, you know, what you think of in your mind, it's 40-foot doodling a little tiny worm on a rock pile, but then I've also got St. Clair, which is shallow grass, power fishing, rattle trapping, you know, that kind of stuff. So if you smallmouth fish, we're going to kind of do two different things here. Today I've got two different seminars. I'm going to talk about like big water. How many people have ever been to Lake Champlain? About Thousand Islands? Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about big water because I know there's a push towards that. How many people are thinking of going to one of those places in the next few years? Or possibly St. Clair or Erie or Ontario or a place where you're going to get waves higher than this. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'll give you some history about that and some crazy stories. And that's going to be the first approach, kind of like what you would do if you went to big water, because if you think about it, but believe me, they have 1-foot contours on these maps now. Used to be like 6-foot contours. Now it's like 18, 19, 20. So because of that, all that stuff is super, super accurate now. And obviously, us being bass fishermen and being somewhat knowledgeable about what bass like, the reason I kind of selected this particular slide when I was going through them is because this is like what I would call, if I'm going to go offshore fishing for smallmouth, this is going to be a high percentage area. Okay, a big, vast section of open water with a couple of points, or one little reef, or whatever it is that we're looking at offshore structure, that's, you know, that pales in comparison to this. Even like this point down here, yeah, that looks pretty good. But this is a real high percentage area because think about it. Offshore, you've got this massive point, okay, that's got all these structural features on it and all these high spots and little twists and turns and real shallow water point here. And then a big flat area that probably has a lot of, if it's rock piles that are the thing in your lake, that's probably got a lot of rocks. If it's grass, that's probably got a lot of grass or a mix. So you got this big structural area and this big feeding area, and you can literally go on this with your boat, and you can look here, and you can look up on the top, and you can maybe look at this shallow spot. You can come over here and look at the end of this point, or maybe where the contours are real stacked close together for a real quick drop. And you can go like bam, 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 maybe up here, and you're looking at all the good stuff. You know, it used to be like you'd go out on a big long point and there'd be one key stump or one key rock or one key, you know, spot in the grass bed that was the deal that people found, you know. How'd you find that spot? Oh, I just fished this bay all the time and I just came up on this hard bottom area, whatever. Well, now you just drive right to it your first trip. It's amazing. I know it's hard to believe, but I can give you a perfect example. I fished, Lake Erie had some FLW tournaments in like 07 and 08, $200,000 tournaments. And that was when mapping chips first got really big. And I went to places that I did what we talked about earlier, the flasher and the GPS, and drove and fished for 15 years to find the greatest spot. And the first day of practice for the FLW tournament, I drive out there and there's like the Frosted Flakes boat sitting on it. I'm like, how does this happen? I mean, to where you actually thought in your mind someone stole your GPS. Not where they were close, where they were like, doot, doot, doot. Hey, Joe, what's happening? This is a good spot. Yeah, I know, dude. Found it 15 years ago. You know what I mean? But that stuff was right on. So since then, we've seen that evolution, so you need to look into it.
I hope you enjoyed the preview clip, and for more like that and the entire collection, subscribe to the Bass University TV. And if you want the tackle that you see on there, I want you to go to the Bass University Tackle Shop, powered by Tackle Warehouse, and click right here, and it's all at your fingertips.
You want to become a better angler?
You want to catch more and bigger bass at your local pond?
Then check out Bass University TV for hardcore bass fishing information.
Hey, I'm Pete Gluzek,
And I'm Mike Iaconelli.
and this is Bass University TV.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Gluzek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests.
Everywhere I go in the country, I'm trying to use these techniques because I catch big fish that way.
From on the water to in the classroom,
We want to use that bait to help make that area even smaller and really find that sweet spot.
you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills.
You want something that's got a nice limber action, that's going to allow you to build pressure and keep those hooks pinned against that fish's mouth.
Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time.
Hold on, because you're going to catch some big fish.
Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best.
That's a key theory in all of fishing.
Subscribe to Bass University TV today.
Man, does it trigger a lot of strikes.
Here's the part that you're not going to hear anywhere else. This is the Bass University TV exclusive.